Welcome back to What You'll Learn. My name is Adam Ashton.
Hello, Taman. My name is Adam Jones, mate. Who Moved My Cheese? What a book.
Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson.
Yeah.
So it says over 24 million copies sold. It sold 1 million in the first year and a half.
Yep.
At Amazon's 10-year anniversary, it said it was the #1 best-selling book on Amazon.
So the book is all about adapting to change, and I don't know if the listeners can hear in the background where there's a bit of music going on. There's a bit of chaos. We're recording from Bali at the moment, so
Yeah, we're just having a bit of change.
bit of change, mate. And this book helps us deal with it.
Yeah, so it says that the book will help you anticipate change, adapt to change quickly, enjoy change, and be ready to change again and again and again.
Yep.
So it's a little parable, so much in the same vein of 1 Minute Manager and Richest Man in Babylon, in that it's a bit of a story where I guess there's it's a fictional story, but there's some good messages in it.
So it's a story of 4 different... Was it 2 mice or 4? Were they all mice?
Now, there was 2 mice, and there was 2 little people, which were people the size of mice.
Oh, really?
It's cheesy.
We'll call it, yeah.
That's a cheesy joke,
Yeah.
but it's a fucking cheesy book.
Yeah. So
But,
it's basically 4 characters, and the whole parable is about them getting into a maze, which is like emblematic of what life is, I guess.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they enter the maze, all they're finding is cheese. And,
Yeah.
and cheese represents anything
Happiness.
good in your life
Yeah.
and happiness. And that's where the title of the book, Who Moved My Cheese, comes from. Because when they're in the maze and they're comfortable knowing where the cheese is at the start, someone
Yeah.
moves it. And that's where
all hell breaks
the 4
loose.
different characters come out, and then all hell breaks loose. That's right.
Yeah, so they say cheese is a metaphor for what we want in life, whether it's a job, relationship, money, a big house, freedom, health, recognition, spiritual peace, anything like that. So there's the 4 characters. So there's Sniff,
Yep.
who's a mouse.
So Sniff the mouse, he sniffs out change early.
Scurry,
You got Scurry, who just scurries into action when there's change.
and then you got the 2 little people, which is Hem,
So Hem denies and resists change as he fears it will lead to something worse.
and then you got Haw, Haw.
So Haw learns to adapt in time, but it takes a bit of time for that person to adapt to change. So
Yeah.
say, I think we said yesterday, Haw is like your 53-year-old in midlife crisis kind of thing, I'd say.
So I think they said that everyone sort of could have all 4 of these within
Yeah,
them.
definitely. That's
And
right.
would use each at different points of the maze, I guess, navigating through. The book's in 3 parts. The first part is like a school reunion where everyone's talking, and then the middle part is the actual parable, and then the end bit is like the school reunion, they're going for drinks and talking about it. They were shit out. So we'll just talk about the middle bit, which is the good bit.
So the actual
cheese
parable. Yeah. So as we alluded to, so they enter the maze, the cheese is there, so they call it Cheese Station C.
Yeah.
So at the start, they get there and they're all, fuck yeah, this is some incredible cheese, we're loving this stuff. And they all start nibbling away, but...
Yeah, basically every morning they get up, put in their jogging shoes, jog down to the cheese station and chow down, and then go back home, and that's their day all day, every day.
Yep, that's right. And
Yeah.
then, so what Sniff and Scurry actually noticed was the cheese was starting to taste a little bit worse, it was getting a little bit off, and the cheese supply was starting to dwindle.
Yeah.
So at the very start of the book, at the first sign of the cheese supply dwindling, Sniff and Scurry headed back into the maze in search of new cheese.
Yeah, that's it. They were sort of getting ready, weren't they?
Yep.
Whereas the 2 people, they were pretty comfortable. You know, they said something like, there's enough cheese here to last us forever.
Yep.
So they thought they were sweet. They just, every day they wake up. And then they said they, got a little bit complacent. They might roll in, casually.
Yep.
They might just, get in mid-morning, have a nibble on the cheese,
They
just
said
hang
they were
out.
entitled to the cheese.
Yeah, they thought they deserved the cheese.
That's their cheese. It's never going to go away. It's going to stay there forever. But one day the cheese wasn't there, and that's where the title comes in. And Hem yells out, "What? No cheese? Who moved my cheese?" It's like his cheese. It's,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
it.
fair. Like,
Yeah, that's what he said. He
it
said
started
it's
off
not
as a
fair.
gift, the cheese, and a reward, and all that, and then it was entitlement.
Yeah, and that's what I think old Hem, who's obviously the most undesirable character, is he thought that just because they'd worked so hard for it, that's what they deserved. It was their cheese. Who dare take his cheese away from him?
That's right. So Haw was so Sniff and Scurry. They're already off into the maze looking for the new cheese. But one day Haw wanted to move on and trying to convince Hem, come on, we got to change, we got to move on. and find the new cheese. And then, but Hem said, why should we change? We're special. We're entitled to these benefits. And he overanalyzed the situation. They actually cut a hole in the maze and just dug holes around where the cheese was.
In the same spot.
In the same spot. So they worked harder to find the cheese in the same spot, but then, for no reward.
Yeah. So there was definitely that bit of entitlement, I'd say, that Hem and Hoare at the start as well. So Hem and Hoare were both pretty slow, and they both thought that they deserved that cheese. They didn't notice any gradual changes, as I said, the mice did.
Yep.
And to them, it just felt like all of a sudden it was gone instantly.
Yep.
So instead of so the little people were just constantly analysing why did it happen, whereas the mice, as soon as they knew, they just snapped into action.
Didn't overanalyze it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the book is focused on the character Hoare. So Hoare is the one who gets all the lessons and realises how silly it is to not change. And then, so one day Hoare sticks his head into the maze and thinks, what would I do if I didn't fear anything?
Yeah.
So that's when Hoare says, fuck it, I'm gonna go off in the maze and find Sniff and Scurry and then get some new cheese, or if there is any out there.
Yeah, because that's it. It's I think is it Albert Einstein? So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So Hem just thought every day, in the past, I went back, there was cheese there, so every day I'm going to keep going, and eventually there'll be cheese back there again. Yep. That was just insane. Whereas Hoare eventually came around and realised that he has to do something different and move in a new direction in order to find new cheese.
Yep. So what Hoare realised is when he was back into the maze, which is like life, so I guess moving on with change or whatever, and when he stepped back in the arena, it wasn't as bad as he feared.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he got in there and he learnt his lessons from Sniff and Scurry, not to overcomplicate things, and just to keep life simple. And so over time, he finally found some new cheese, like remnants of Sniff and Scurry's cheese, but they were like dwindling supplies.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it was new cheese he found at the very start.
Yeah, he found something, and I guess it sort of kept him going. He got out of his comfort zone, but he'd taken control, and then he didn't just. As Hem was just sitting there waiting for someone else to bring the cheese back, Hoare took control, bit of intention, and thought, I'm going to go out and work for myself and do something different, find some new cheese.
That's right.
So I guess, as you say, he found some of the scraps that the mice had left over, and just was enough to keep him going, I think.
So then Hoare kept on going from there as well, had all these extra learnings about it, and then finally he caught up with Sniff and Scurry, and then found this huge cheese station with all the new cheeses of the world, and then all this fucking awesome shit.
Yeah.
Whereas Hem was still, well, we don't find out what Hem ended up doing, but Hem obviously just hung around at the first cheese station and then had a dreadful life by the sounds of it.
I think Hem, they sort of say Hoare's chowing down on the cheese, and he hopes that Hem comes and he hears some footsteps.
Yep.
But he doesn't know. We never find out. But do you reckon Hem made it, or do you reckon Hem?
No, Hem stayed there. Definitely. So there was a summary. So the whole book, it has writing on the wall. So the mice or the little people will write little comments of what they're learning on the wall. And this is Hoare's summary.
Yep, give it to us.
Number 1, change happens. Keep moving with the cheese. Anticipate change. Get ready for the cheese to move. Monitor change. So smell the cheese so you know when it's getting old.
Yep,
adapt to change quickly. Yep. The quicker you let go of change, the sooner you can enjoy the new cheese. Change. Move with the cheese, enjoy the change, and be ready to change quickly and enjoy it again and again. So just keep moving with the cheese, baby.
I love it. Some of my other favourite bits is one of the writings on the wall. So basically when Hoare was out in the maze looking for the new cheese, he'd leave those writings on the wall if Hem decided to follow him, and I guess a bit of motivation as he went. So my favourite one was, it's safer to search in the maze than to remain in a cheeseless situation.
Yeah.
So Hoare realised that they were sitting in cheese station C, there was no cheese there, and rather than just copping it and sitting there forever with no cheese, he decided to go out into the maze. It was unknown. It could have been worse. It could have been better. Who knows? But obviously it was safer to at least have a crack, do something, search that maze.
So that's how the book works. Kind of like throughout reading the book, you obviously put yourself in one of the characters' shoes, and then it's a good way of being self-aware of how you're reacting to change in your life, and you don't want to be a Hem basically, do you?
Yeah, don't be a Hem, which I reckon probably most people are. Yeah. I've definitely had some Hem moments, absolutely.
Definitely.
I think there was another thing I liked here. there's sort of 3 stages. The first stage is full hem, which is number 1 is denying the change.
Yeah.
Next is whore, which is accepting change. And then the third is probably the mice, which is expecting change. So if you're expecting change, you can always be sniffing around and be ready when that comes.
Yeah. So I love it. So that's the moral of the story, basically, is just anticipate change and embrace it.
Yeah, and eventually, whatever you're doing in life, it's going to change.
Yeah.
There's going to be change, whether it's work, relationships, financial situation.
Yeah,
someone's going to move that cheese, and it's up to you to take some control.
Yeah, bang on, mate. So,
It was a quick,
phenomenal book, man. It's only, you can read it in
well, there's
an hour and a half.
there's like 90 pages, but there's only like 50 pages is the actual story. The stuff before and the stuff after is pretty crap.
Yeah.
It's a bit too obvious. I like the parables in that, like, it's a story, there's an obvious message, but you have to think about it a little bit, whereas it was too obvious when he was talking about the school reunion and shit like that.
Yeah, spot on. So probably this book more than anything is throughout reading the book the whole time, I was thinking about so many people I'd love to give this book to.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the hems and
A lot of hems out
if
there.
their life changes and then they don't embrace the change and then move with it, and they're a lot less happier for it. So
yeah, and we actually, because our last episode we spoke to Matthew Michaelwich, and he brought this one up off his own bat and said that the world's changing. The next 20 years is going to be a lot of change. So he thought this was a good book to have a read and prepare for that change.
So it's probably is it an old book? How old is it?
I think it's old.
Either way, it's probably more relevant now. More relevant than ever now, and going into the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything's changing exponentially.
I think 1998, maybe something like that. Yeah,
so
but there's always going to be change. Everyone's going to have change. Yeah.
So love it, man. So one of the classics, I'd give it to. I recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, it's an everyone, and it's, as you said, it's fucking easy, man. It's an hour read, hour and a half read, mate.
Fucking oath, mate. Anything else, bud?
Mate, that was a bloody quick episode.
Yeah. Small book.
Small book, but powerful.
Powerful
book.
So get out there and read it, guys. Don't listen to us. Read the book.
Yeah. Should we do a song?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, let's do it. Who moved my cheese? By Dr. Spencer Johnson. Smith's Scarberry Ham and Hall, walking through the maze of life. Where is the cheese? Go and find your cheese. One day the cheese moves, Smith and Scarberry move with it, and Ham and Hall sat on there, fast as Lord and Buck. It's safer in the maze than to live in a cheeseless situation. Lick that cheese and see if it tastes good. Hey, always check the cheese. Always check the cheese. If you don't check the cheese might be gone.